generations of visitors here in the heart of the Bronx, New York City's greenest borough. First named a National Historic Landmark in 1967, the garden's 250 acres are home to more than 1 million living plants, making us the largest botanical garden located in any U.S. city. On Side B, past the large Wamsler rock outcropping, is the Rock Garden. There, you'll find an incredible selection of unusual flowers and plants from around the world that thrive in rocky or alpine environments, including some of the smallest plants on view in the botanical garden. On Side A, you'll find a collection of trees and flowering shrubs. That's the Arthur and Janet Ross Conifer Arboretum. There are nearly 1,000 mature trees here, including spruces, firs, and pines, planted alongside flowering cherries and ornamental birches.
Beyond the Ross Arboretum stands the Botanical Garden's iconic glass house, the Enid A. Haupt Conservatory, which first opened its doors in 1902. Inside, you can explore an acre of plant life under glass. From tropical rainforests to arid deserts, this immersive journey is filled with thousands of plants, including flowering vines and towering cacti. It's also where you'll find our seasonal exhibitions. Just outside the conservatory sits the Perennial Garden, where a rich palette of colorful flowers, grasses, and shrubs, designed by a former painter, provides eye-catching color no matter the season.
Ahead, the Leicester T. Woods building is the centerpiece of the museum complex, completed in 1901 in the Beaux-Arts style. It houses our globally significant library collections, containing more than 11 million items, including historic manuscripts from as far back as the 12th century. The library is open to everyone, from scientists studying the latest research journals to kids exploring the natural world for the very first time. Inside, you might even discover a new favorite of your own. The museum complex is home to more than the library, with special exhibitions that explore the deep connections between botany, the cutting-edge work of our scientists, art, and the humanities.
Toward the main road, on Side B, you'll see a tall tulip tree, one that we at NYVG affectionately refer to as the Mother Tree.
This remarkable tree, which is nearly 200 years old, was already standing when the garden was established. It inspired the creation of the Larry E. Condon and John J. Hoppy Tulip Tree Allée, which we're now driving through.
Allée is French for a tree-lined walk. The original Tulip Tree Allée was planted in 1903 under the direction of the garden's founding director, botanist and taxonomist Nathaniel Lord Britton. For 120 years, our dedicated horticulturist cared for a thriving collection of trees here, each of which grew to an average of 95 feet tall. As these older specimens reached the end of their natural life, we replaced them with a new generation of young tulip trees, creating an enduring allée to inspire plant lovers for the next century or more. At the bottom of the allée is the Moshaloom entrance, where you can leave NYBG to catch the Metro North train or the B and D subway lines.
Britton and his wife, distinguished botanist Elizabeth Knight Britton, led the movement to create a renowned botanical garden in New York City in the late 19th century. While on their honeymoon in London in 1888, they paid a visit to the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew. What they saw there inspired them to lobby elected officials and civic leaders to create a public garden dedicated to science, education, and horticulture right here in New York. The Brittons were successful, and in 1891, the New York State Legislature incorporated the New York Botanical Garden. Soon after, this site was selected for the new garden, which featured a 50-acre old-growth forest surrounded by fields and pastures. In 1895, landscape architect Calvert Vaux, co-designer of Manhattan Central Park, drew up a master plan for the garden that allowed the planting of beautiful and diverse collections while preserving the natural beauty of the original landscape.
More than 130 years after its founding, the garden staff of more than 500 people remain dedicated to preserving that beauty for many generations to come. Our horticulture team cares for thousands of mature trees, tends nearly 1 million bulbs, annuals and perennials, and clips a mile of hedges each year to keep this oasis in New York City green and growing.
The garden also hosts a world-class scientific research program. Our team of scientists study plant biodiversity and work to conserve nature as well as knowledge about plants. Our science team collaborates with communities around the world to do their research and to engage the public in botanical science, including right here in the Bronx. The large building with no windows is the William and Linda Steer Herbarium, the second largest herbarium on the planet. It houses a library of nearly 8 million pressed and dried plant specimens, including some that date back to the 1700s. Scientists from all over the world use herbarium specimens to identify new species and document where plants grow, helping them track changes to Earth's plant life over the last 300 years. Herbarium specimens are one of the few tangible pieces of evidence about how plants and fungi lived before industrialization. These specimens provide vital data scientists can use to study a wide range of pressing environmental issues, including how climatic changes have altered plant life cycles, or studying how to better manage invasive species.
On Side A, you'll find two water features fondly called twin lakes. Birds, especially water birds and seasonally migrating species, flock here to enjoy the native plants and cool water. Garden visitors have spotted more than 200 bird species here.
We're about to cross the Bronx River, New York City's only freshwater river. Just downstream on Side B, the Bronx River cuts a dramatic gorge through the 50-acre Thane family forest. The
Oh, how pretty.
On Side A, you'll find two water features fondly called twin lakes. Birds, especially water birds and seasonally migrating species, flock here to enjoy the native plants and cool water. Garden visitors have spotted more than 200 bird species here.
We're about to cross the Bronx River, New York City's only freshwater river. Just downstream on Side B, the Bronx River cuts a dramatic gorge through the 50-acre Thane family forest, the largest surviving stand of uncut, first-growth forest in New York City. Before the arrival of European settlers, the Bronx River and surrounding forests provided food and water for the peoples who lived throughout Lenape-Hogan, the area that is now New York City. Today, the Lenape's descendants are represented by 3 federally recognized groups who live in Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Canada, while many other descendants remain in the New York City area and continue to thrive here today.
We're now passing through the magnolias, one of the oldest plant collections at the garden. The first magnolia trees were planted here in the early 1900s, and many surviving specimens are over 100 years old. When they flower in early spring, they create bright blooms in shades of pink, purple, white, and yellow, with an unforgettable fragrance that's a highlight of the season.
We're now approaching the Burnt Oak Collection, which spotlights one of the world's most majestic and useful trees. Here you can explore different oaks from Europe, Asia, and North America.
In northeastern forests, oaks are the most common and useful trees, both for humans and local wildlife. We use oak wood to build everything from furniture to wine barrels, while rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, and deer make a feast of the acorns. Here in the Oak Collection, our woody plant curators are testing oak varieties they In northeastern forests, oaks are the most common and useful trees, both for humans and local wildlife. We use oak wood to build everything from furniture to wine barrels, while rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, and deer make a feast of the acorns. Here in the oak collection, our woody plant curators are testing oak varieties they suspect may do well in New York as our climate warms. All of our living collections offer the opportunity to experiment with different plants and observe how they adapt and change. An important resource for scientists and students alike as they study the diversity and flexibility of the plant world.
We're just about to pass the green zone at the top of the hill on Side A. This staff-only space is where we compost all of the leaves, grass clippings, and other organic material produced as we care for the garden. The nutrient-rich compost made here allows us to reduce the amount of chemical fertilizers used on grounds and helps our plants to thrive. On the same hill on Side A is the East Gate, a convenient pathway in and out of the garden for our neighbors and visitors who arrive on the 2 and 3 subway lines.
We're coming up on the Edible Academy. This lively vegetable garden offers year-round programs for kids and their families. It's a place where little ones can get their hands dirty digging in the soil, learn what it takes to grow a thriving garden, and cook up delicious recipes with the plants they've harvested. Regular cooking demonstrations make for plenty of nutritious fun, no matter your age.
Next on Side B is the cherry collection. In April, the trees
Let's get out your collections. No, I'm asking. I think that's it. Until we find somewhere that will work. Get out here, look how that is. To go into the conference. Just to get stuck in the middle of places. Just straight sun. Where's the rose garden? You need to start. One yeah, that's what I
Next on Side B is the cherry collection. In April, the trees paint the valley with fluffy clouds of pink and white. Make your way through the cherry collection to reach the Thane Family Forest Trails, along with a beautiful view of the Bronx River waterfall.
On either side of us, you'll find the Byrne Family Lilac Collection. In late April, this area becomes a sea of color from white and pale blue to lavender, deep purple and yellow, all infused with the welcoming fragrance of lilac.
Just past the Lilac Collection is the award-winning Peggy Rockefeller Rose Garden on Side A, designed by pioneering landscape architect Beatrix Farrand, and dedicated by David Rockefeller in honor of his wife Peggy, who cherished roses. There, wander through nearly 4,000 roses of every color, ranging from heirloom varieties to modern selections chosen for their disease resistance and hardiness in the face of climate change. The roses start flowering in late May, peaking in early June, and blooming for a second time each year in September. You really should stop and smell the roses. Many have irresistible scents.
As the road curves,
Where's my mask? Where's my mask?
As the road curves, you can see the Judy and Michael Steinhardt Maple Collection on Side A. Here, native maples grow alongside rare varieties of maples from around the world. The winding branches of these trees, plus their colorful foliage, make it a striking collection year-round, though their brilliant foliage in fall is tough to beat. In the same area, the Dolores Defina Hope Tree Peony Collection features a wonderful planting of tree peonies that flower in early May, with poetic cultivar names you'll want to stop for.
These pavilions mark the entry to one of the country's most impressive collections of rare and unusual garden conifers. It was designed in the late 1940s by noted landscape architect Marion Coffin. Conifers hold their seeds in cones, like the pine cones used in winter holiday decorations. The Benenson Ornamental Conifer Collection includes plants with multicolored foliage, others with weeping forms, and compact and slow-growing varieties. This part of the garden is welcoming no matter the season, from the vibrant greens of spring and...
We're just about to cross another scenic section of the Bronx River. The Lillian and Amy Goldman Stone Mill sits on the water's edge on Side B. The Lorillard family built this mill in 1840 to produce snuff, then a popular alternative to smoking tobacco. It's the oldest tobacco mill in the U.S. and a National Historic Landmark. The Bronx River once powered many factories and mills like this one, and by the end of the 1800s, it was heavily polluted as a result. Today, NYBG is part of the Bronx River Watershed Management Plan Advisory Committee. Together with many local community organizations, NYBG staff and volunteers monitor the river's water quality, clean up trash, and restore native plant communities along the riverbanks, both within the garden's bounds and outside them. By restoring habitat and increasing biodiversity, NYBG is helping foster a healthier and more resilient watershed. Today, these waters are cleaner than ever and are once again home to a wonderful array of wildlife that haven't been seen here in many years, from beavers to American eagles.
On Side A, we're approaching a grassy triangle with an enormous black oak, a tree that's almost 200 years old. From this point, you can explore the old-growth Hain family forest, or take in the year-round beauty of the Chilton Azalea Garden. In April, be sure to set out here to experience the bloom of nearly 1 million daffodils across Daffodil Hill and the Crabapple Collection.
As we continue our journey, look up the hill for a grove of small trees on Side A. This is the Bruckman Crabapple Collection. The crabapples in this collection and throughout the grounds flower.
This is within this area is within walking distance of the center. We saw huge stuff on this pond.
No, porque como ya tengo que estar relajando para mejor.
We have to see the orchids
Maybe
first.
as a twin. No, we do.
Have you been to the orchids?
As we continue our journey, look up the hill for a grove of small trees on side A. This is the Franko crabapple collection. The crabapples in this collection and throughout the grounds flower with beautiful pale blossoms in spring, usually in late April. In and among the crabapples are planted hundreds of thousands of yellow, orange, and white daffodils, giving this slope its name, Daffodil Hill.
We're still moving alongside the Thane family forest. On side B, 50 acres of uncut old-growth forest that the garden has preserved in its natural state for over a century. To ensure the forest remains healthy, the garden continues a program of ecological restoration, removing non-native species and planting native trees.
The Chilton Azalea Garden on side A spreads across 11 shady acres and features thousands of azaleas and rhododendrons alongside woodland flowers. When the azaleas flower in early May, the entire hillside is transformed into a pointillist canvas of pinks, purples, and whites. Even when the azaleas aren't in flower, the azalea garden is a great place to wander. Mature tulip trees, oaks, and sweet gums cast welcome shade in the summer that cools the masses of ferns, hostas, and cheerful wildflowers that line the paths. Look out for chipmunks too, zipping across the paths and rocks as they go about their daily routines. Here, autumn's colorful foliage reaches its pinnacle in mid to late October. And in winter, look out for fragrant witch hazels and clusters of nodding snowdrops.
Oh, you can only have a place like this if you have a couple of hundred gardeners working with you. Look at that. In early blossom.
It's like basically a big ass zoo plus
You can buy them at my house when they start blooming. My whole front tree has got a circle around it. When they were that
when I
big.
was little, I thought this shit was real. I swear to God, they had in the Jurassic Park. You go in Disney World. Why would they have World Yeah, that's, no, they have a real thing. It's like a real park. It's a real. Is it Disney World? Yeah. Yeah. No, I wasn't. Like that, I thought it was real. There was a part where I went and there was other kids and they had a whole bunch of eggs, and every kid was able to get an egg, and the egg hatched right in your hand. Just in your. I swear to God, bro, I thought it was real. It was like a little baby bird. Yeah, it was like a baby bird basically. It looked like a baby bird, except it had a long tail and it looked just like a dinosaur. And then it was pink as hell. And I'm like, yo, what do you guys do? We're not getting big. They come here. We don't let them grow. Whole time. You're big. This is how you enter the woods. You go in here and then it takes you.
Up ahead on side A, you'll see a path just beyond more rock outcroppings. That's the Mitsubishi Wild Wetland Trail. The pathway is surrounded by plants that flourish in marshy wet ground and function as nature's water filtration system. Listen closely, and you might even hear a symphony of frogs, turtles, and songbirds, just a few of the many creatures that thrive in this ecosystem.
Ahead on side B is the Native Plant Garden, a gift of the Leon Levy Foundation in 2013. With everything from shaded woodlands to open meadows to lush wetlands dotted with brilliant color, there's something to discover in every season. It's full of both rare and familiar plants native to the northeast region of this continent, including carnivorous pitcher plants, lush ferns, and a carpet of bluebells in early spring. The plants in this garden provide food and habitat for native and migrating birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. If you're partial to bird watching, this is another perfect spot. Inspired to take some of the garden's beauty home with you? The garden hosts an extensive offering of continuing education classes which help gardeners and plant enthusiasts to create beautiful, sustainable gardens indoors and out. Back on side A is the colorful entrance to the newly renovated Everett Children's Adventure Garden. Hands-on activities and immersive environments offer kids of all ages a fun place to discover, explore, and experience nature in all seasons. We're almost back to the Leon Levy Visitor Center, where you can find information about garden programs and events, stop for refreshments, and visit the NYBG shop.
The last stop, this is the last stop. If you would like to do the tour again, you have to make the line. Thank you.